Where are you now in your pre-draft process? Are you done working out with everybody? Have you seen everybody, or do you still have more planned? Where are you right now, Dillon?
So right now I'm in Huntington Beach, California, just training still.
Okay.
Still have another visit and private workout set up. So just want to get right for that. But it's been a lot of back and forth and, life in a backpack, to be quite honest.
Okay. So I know the workout is private, but what team is it? I'll ask, Dillon.
I'd love to say so, but I'd be wrong doing that.
Okay.
However,
yes,
I will say that I do have one more visit and one more private workout.
Okay,
so.
one more visit, one more private workout.
And a little mystery. We've been in the White Lotus talk. A little mystery leads to a little fun. You can leave it up to your imagination.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very, very good. As long as listen, just stay away from the smoothies.
100%.
Okay. How many teams have you spoken to then? What do you got for me? What numbers do you have on this front?
I think throughout this process, you Zoom with everyone, honestly, and I think you realize what's box checking and what's not. But I think, with meetings at the combine, then you do visits and then even a private workout. I'd love to say that's a little tell that, there's a interest on both sides. But for the most part, too, I've heard a lot of stories where you get drafted to teams that you have never talked to. So I think it's different for the quarterback position. So you do know a little bit in that sense. But still, for me, I think you have conversations and you see where it leads to.
Yeah, I mean, it is rare for a quarterback to be drafted by a team that hasn't even communicated with him at all pre-draft. And the only time that just leaps out at me is Jay Cutler got drafted by the Broncos in the first round, and they didn't even, they were just looking at him from afar. Apparently, they didn't even talk to him. So you're right; it is rare when it comes to that. When you say the box checking, what do you think the box? What's generally the boxes that you've been asked to check? Do you think, Dillon?
No, I say box checking, and are we just doing this, for
I see,
homework's sake, or are we doing it for true interest? And I think even saying that, you can tell that within a conversation. A lot of Zooms, it's crazy how much you can learn within 30 to 45 minutes, and you just appreciate the guys that are diving into that or even creating a connection, because you also realize too that in this football world, some way, somehow, you'll probably be connected at one point or another. So just trying to make the most of it and be present within that moment.
I guess I was using box checking in terms of the as a term used by evaluators saying, well, this kid has this flair, and I saw it on tape. I need to see it in person. I'll check that box. Or I have a concern about a player that I've seen on tape or measurables, and I need to see this person, and let's check that box so I can check it off. So in that regard, what have you heard about you through, I guess, evaluations that you've been asked to say, hey, give me a sense of whether I should be concerned about this about you, Dillon? You see where I'm going with that?
100%. I truly believe, just within my time, I think everyone has seen the 6 years of tape and have gathered a lot of information of the evolution of me as a player. Not only the success at three spots, but also responding through failure. And I think you can just see that through that 6-year progression. However, people naturally are going to talk about limitations, and that's their job. Scouts are looking how further back they can pick you, or, why maybe this player is better than another. And that's part of their homework and what they have to do. So I think it still goes down to who you want as a football player. And there's a lot more than just you being on the field, but, face of the franchise, a guy that's going to, represent the organization well. And I've done that all three places. And I think sometimes because there's a bunch of consistency, maybe there's a good enough amount of information to look at and be like, okay, we're good here. And maybe they don't need further information, but maybe that's kind of the tough part on my end. But, as you continue to go through this, you also realize that there's still 17 days and a lot can happen.
So, I mean, listen, I saw the height questions surrounding Kyler Murray. You wound up being first overall, and and obviously he's gone a second contract, and the Cardinals are not concerned about that. How do you answer those questions when it comes to you, Dillon?
Yeah, I think you watch the tape. I've done it, and it hasn't been a limiting factor for me. I think if you watch and there is limitations because of height, then I think there's a conversation. But it hasn't happened in my career. And although I know I'm walking into some unknown and a spot where the best football players are gathering to compete, I know that there's going to be a level of me having to improve, but that's for everyone that's walking into the NFL. So I think what's helped me a bunch throughout my college journey has been just being eager to learn and staying true to that. And that's not going to change. But I've played a lot of ball, and it's never limited me.
Well, I mean, if somebody's from Hawaii and plays quarterback left-handed, they're going to get compared to Tua, and you have been. How do you take those comparisons, Dillon?
Yeah, I think he's a guy I definitely played against growing up, watched a bunch, and admired from afar. But naturally, that's going to happen. I think there's only a select few of lefties, so naturally, to the naked eye, that's the comparison. However, I think if you look at certain people's game, there's certain nuances that are different and similar. But just because we are lefties, of course, that's going to come through. But I'm definitely not opposed to that.
What is the team going to get if they draft you? Who are they getting if they draft Dillon Gabriel?
Yeah, they know what they're getting, and that's experience, a winner, a leader, but also a person who's eager to learn, and I think all four of those traits for me have blended into my 6 years of college, but also a fighter, one who's going to continue to respond and fight through adversity, but also, get on the right side of it. So I think the tape definitely speaks for itself, but I think it's much more than just who you are as a player at this point. It's who you are as a person, and marrying the two because they both go hand in hand. So, for many, it may be too safe, and some teams like to gamble, but sometimes what you need is right in front of you.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.